Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. I am back from Las Vegas, where I paid $36 for a cheeseburger, walked 8.5 miles a day, and realized that Las Vegas is not real life. But what was real life is Author Nation 2025. So I wanted to talk to you about, both as readers and as writers, what it means to go to any big conference, but in particular Author Nation 2025, because that's what's freshest on my mind. One of the interesting things about a conference is that you come out of it and you're energized. You have this incredible sense of purpose. You make a lot of connections. You generate ideas and all of the things that it takes to create really great stories. Where the disconnect happens for some of us is when you get in the car or on the flight or any other method of getting home short of a hot air balloon, you end up, there's some disconnect and it may fade. So what I always say is take that sensation, that ethereal high, and create ideas out of it almost immediately. I'll give you an example. I got on the plane and I've got a 5-hour flight. And I started thinking immediately about how I've got 5 hours to work. I've got 5 excellent hours where everything is fresh in my mind. I've got all these great ideas. I connected with a couple new authors. I connected with a lot of readers and everything. And they all, basically what they do is they fill your tank up. You know, your battery, your tank, call it what you will, but it gets filled up at these events in the same way that it can tire people out. I know a lot of my friends had to go back and lay down for 20 minutes in the hotel room because they were just exhausted from so much talking and interaction and the inundation of sensations that comes from being in Las Vegas, surrounded by writers and creatives and people that just want to talk about books. It is a blessing to have that kind of inspiration to create ideas at that dizzying pace. So let's talk about a couple ideas about what to do with what you've learned. The first thing is write it down. You're going to forget it, so write it down. That's the first thing. I immediately started taking notes because I was talking to a co-author of mine and we came up with this incredible concept for a series. And based just like that on the title alone, I said, that's fantastic. That's a keeper. So what do? Write it down. I wrote it down immediately. We started riffing off each other, and in the span of 10 minutes, we had 6 books planned out. We could see it. We could see like a fractal, we could see it. So, but it all started with the idea of saving it by writing it down. The second thing is consider, I don't want to say this delicately, but develop thick skin. And if you're a writer, you have to develop thick skin because people are going to write reviews that are unkind and they might personally attack you. A certain amount of people are going to dislike you simply because you exist. And it is, after all, the internet where dreams go to die. So one of the things that you have to do is you develop a thick skin with the express purpose of listening, of taking things in, of not thinking about the next thing that you're going to say, but rather you're thinking about the next thing that the person you're speaking to is going to say. My reasoning is as follows. Every time I shut up, I learn something valuable to help me do critical things in my life. Help me choose a good book to read, listen to a good audiobook, find a good source for information for something I'm working on, outright create a series, outright create a character, share an experience that acts as a liminal moment for me where I am physically and metaphysically changed afterwards, and that the person that I am is not the same person that arrived on the flight and 6 days later a different person is leaving. I'll give you a great example of something that happened out in Las Vegas. I said, you know what? I'm close to the Grand Canyon and to the Hoover Dam. I'm going. And first of all, if you haven't ever been to either of them, I cannot recommend it enough. Words fail. Writers can write until the sun burns out and never capture the majesty of the Grand Canyon. I just don't think it can be done. The other crazy part about the Grand Canyon is that we pulled up to the Grand Canyon, get out of the car, and about 100 feet away, Grand Canyon. That's it. That's how close it is. It isn't like a warm-up. There's no gentle introduction or anything. There just simply is this thing that marks the earth and time and drama and the natural world, and it is right there in front of you, just a short walk away. It is stunning. Just took my breath away. The interesting thing about the Grand Canyon is also that it's never the same. It changed from moment to moment. As we sat and watched and waited for the sun to recede, like water, like dark shadowy water, it ripples, it changes, it goes through all these different stages that just defy explanation, and yet each one is more beautiful than the next. Well, there's a reason people go to the Grand Canyon, especially if you're creative, because it's really difficult to be there and not say, this inspires me, this makes me want to do great things on the page. So, Las Vegas, $36 cheeseburgers, not good. Being around people that inspire you and sort of knock some rust off and jar you into motion, very good. Writing all those ideas down and using them as actionable intelligence on your part, even better. I think that what turns into an investment of time changes into something that blooms with creativity later on. And I'm incredibly thankful for it, because in a matter of a few moments and a couple conversations, I got to connect with readers who said, I love this. Give me more of this. Once again, go back to the thick skin. I realize that in that moment, I come to the conclusion that I serve the people. I do not serve myself as a creator. You create the world, but then it becomes something that belongs to everybody else in a sense. Now you're ultimately in control of it, but you do have some kind of a responsibility as a creative that makes you aware and certainly more amenable to the idea of giving the people what they want. And I think that is one of the conclusions from this event that I will take with me, and it'll never leave me. It'll act as a guide star for me for the years to follow. So thank you very much for being here. Like, subscribe, tell a friend or three. If you don't like it, don't tell them. And I will absolutely see you on the next video. Cheers.